Hello everybody, and welcome to Let's Play 50. Dark Souls Prepare to Die Edition. I will be playing the original version cut with DS fix, which basically will fix some of the lag issues of the original game, mainly because the remaster kind of breaks some of the original lighting and mood, and I've played the remaster many times, that I want to experience what the original Dark Souls had in store, including the DLC. Now I'm going to say this, I am going to be playing the remaster as well, one day, just to show the difference, but without further ado, let's prepare to die, shall we? Now we could also go to key settings and everything, but I haven't got a full basic setup. Alright. We get to select our class, so... I have a name that I thought of. Under vote that I had during our Mega Man Let's Play, I set out a vote basically to select which class was which class we'll be picking for Let's Play 50. I was deciding either between the Miracle class, which basically or the Cleric, which basically gives the miracles, or the good old Pyromancer. The vote has spoken, and we are now a Pyromancer, but our name is going to be... It's funny. If you don't know who Flame Hyanard is, just Google his name. All I'd say is, anyways, we're gonna be male. We're gonna be the Pyromancer, a swamp. Okay, let's read over the classes first. So we have the Warrior. The Warrior, a fearless warrior, weapon expert, high strength and dexterity. Most people want to pick this class first. They're starting with the Dark Souls, starting with the Heater Shield and the Longsword. Which honestly, I have actually used a longsword once in this game. Longswords ain't bad. They're pretty good. And the Heater Shield is a pretty good shield. It's pretty light. Starting with also pretty good armor that's high defense, but not too heavy. The Knight starts with the broadsword and a Knight Shield, basically being having the heaviest armor that they can have, basically instantly putting you into a fat roll. And fat rolls are something you don't want to have in this game, because fat rolls suck. I'm just gonna say that. But, hey. It could be worse. You could be Havel tanking, but anyways, it's a low-ranking knight, high HP, solid armor, not easily toppled. Because actually, I should probably say this. That's good because even though you don't fat roll, you have poise. Poise basically is a stat that lets you tank hits and kind of not take knockback, and it's a pretty darn good stat. So I just spin around because it's just show off the armor. Which, because one thing that was broken in Dark Souls Remastered, armor shine. Armors look completely different in the remaster due to the lighting engine being kind of broken in that. So armor doesn't really shine or glisten. Instead, it kind of looks like a flat texture. So yeah, Wanderer, aimless Wanderer wields a scimitar with high dexterity. Pretty good class. Being a good dex class. I also think it starts off with a bow, which is basically a type weapon, which is yeah. I'll explain more about the game and when we actually start. Thief. Guilt-ridden Thief. High critical hits, has Master Key. Starts off with a buckler and the Bandit's Knife, the best dagger in the game. And also starts off with the Master Key, one of the gifts we can choose, which is the best gift in the game. So if you want to choose the Thief and have two different gifts, he's a good choice. Next up first is the Bandit. The Savage Bandit. High strength, wields a heavy battle axe. Starts off with the Spider Bite Shield, which basically which increases your resistance to poison, and a regular old axe, which is a really high strength weapon. Next up is the Hunter, bow-wielding Hunter. Okay at close range, but weak with magic. As you can see, it has low intelligence, and it starts with a short sword, the weakest of the straight sword class, and a regular old leather shield, but also has a bow. As I got wrong with the Wanderer, I thought the Wanderer had it. No, they just have a scimitar, which, by the way, scimitars are really good in this game. Instead, they have a longbow, which bows aren't that good in the Dark Souls. They're much better in later games. Sorcerers, which is, in my opinion, one of my favorite classes in this game. Sorcerer of Vinheim, a city completely dedicated to magic and sorcery, studying under Seath the Scaleless' teachings. From what he created. They start with a dagger, which is the weakest dagger in the game, and a small shield, which barely blocks anything, but starts with a catalyst, which allows you to cast soul sorceries, which are insane in this game. If you want to beat this game in easy mode, start a sorcerer. Sorry, hiccuping. Actually, be right back for a sec. I'm gonna fix something. That's better looking. Not as stretched. Anyways, Yeah, fair. Next up is the class that we'll be picking, which is the Pyromancer, a Swamp Pyromancer, casts fire spells and wields a hand axe. Starting off with a crappy shield and a crappy hatchet, but has learned from the Chaos Flame and from the Witch of Isless teachings, is access to Pyromancy, one of the best things in the game, with a thing that doesn't scale by stats, but instead scaling by upgrading the flame itself. And then there's the Cleric. Cleric on a pilgrimage, starts off with a free covenant. Wields a mace and casts healing miracles. Miracles are basically the equivalent of white magic in this game, being able to heal yourself and cast other boosting effects, but also has access to lightning damage, which is a pretty good effect. And divine damage, too, which is good against undead. And lightning damage good against dragons and also demons. But yeah, Cleric. And then lastly is the Deprived. Unclothed Enigma, only armed with a club and an old plank shield. The club might not look that good, but it's a complete A-scaling weapon, meaning that it actually scales completely with all strength, basically it being really good, but the Deprived starts with 11s on every stat, which is pretty cool. Now, I mentioned I'll be going Pyromancer, but I'm actually considering starting with the Deprived, so I need to think about it for a bit, but going down the Pyromancer path. Because we will be finding his gear later, but we can also become a Deprived and instead work our way up. Also, he is butt naked. I'm thinking I'm going with a Pyromancer. You knew. Just so we can start with the Pyromancy Flame. But the other one, I never did a Deprived before. Maybe the next time. Maybe next time. Anyways, gifts. Here are some gifts. These are all items you can find in-game, but I'll describe all of them as we go. The Goddess Blessing. Divine Holy Water. Fully restores HP and status. Basically, it's a weapon, an item you can eat to fully restore your HP, and get rid of poison, toxic, and everything. It's not that good because you can use individual items and Estus, which is not a limited source item. Basically, it's full moon grass. That's it. Black fire bombs explodes on impact when thrown, more deadly than a standard bomb. Black fire bombs are the other thing you want to go for instead of if you pick the thief, mainly so you can get a certain item early in the game with the what's it called? From the first boss, which we'll be showcasing a bit. Twin Humanities, tiny sprite called Humanities, sometimes found in Carcassus. Humanity is a mechanic that basically we'll be going into more when we actually start the game, but there's another also really good one because it's basically a full heal they can cast. Binoculars, you'll find this in the game very early. It's pretty useless. Use a pure faraway sights. It's useful if you have a bow because you can basically aim, but that's it. Pendant, trinket, no effect, but fond memories, comfort travelers. The pendant is completely useless. I think there maybe is a trade with Snuggly, but that's it. The pendant literally is useless, and Miyazaki actually trolled people by saying, hey, the pendant might be useful. It never was. Anyways, he was lying. Anyways, the Master Key opens any basic lock, and it shall equip for the thief. This is basically the best item in the game, because it allows you to get to all sorts of places early, and allows you to get a bunch of loot. Over here is the Tiny Beings Ring, a special tribal ring. HP recovers slowly while equipped. It's kind of good, kind of not, but yeah. There are better rings out there than Tiny Beings Ring, and we can find this in-game anyway from trades. But here is the other one that's good for lore, but it's basically what the pendant was kind of trying to be, but not really that good. Old Witch's Ring, gift from a witch, ancient ring with no obvious effects. This will prove useful only for lore and nothing else, which allows you to talk with a certain NPC that doesn't talk otherwise. But we'll be going with the Master Key. Kazik. So average, slim, very slim, large, very large, large upper body, large lower body. Fun fact, I actually went with this when I first played. Top heavy, and tiny head. The only difference is tiny head. Tiny head. Let's go, I'm a swamp man, so I'll go with the very slim. Anyways, we also have a bunch of, our face, which basically determines what land we did come from. We're a Delta farmer, common seen in the face of the five-finger Delta. A handsome face, the refined, common in Astora. Astora is basically a very major country in this game, being a holy city that, worships the gods and basically helps create miracles as we know it. Most people most characters we'll meet will actually come from Astora or Karim. But I'll be right back, because my cat's being outside. Alright, I'm back. The Dragon Scholar, intelligence, sharp lines, but scholarly looks invite insult. With scholarly looks, invite insult. This is the, intelligence sharp lines, but scholarly looks, invite insult. This is the, this comes from the same place as, the Land of Sorceries. Same, because of the Dragon Scholar. Thorland Cleric. Looks commonly in Thorland, known for its stalwart clerics. I think this is where the Way of the White comes from. It's from, yeah, Petrus of Thorland comes from there, so yes. It's where the Way of the White comes from, which is a place that basically serve the gods and, specifically praise Gwyn, Lord of Sunlight. Jubilant Katarina. Jovial features of Katarina, known for its festivity and drink. This is where the Katarina Knights come from, and are pretty darn cool people. The Onion Knights, I love them. Sigmire is my favorite character in this game. Well, one of my favorites, next to Lautrec and also Solaire. Thank you, The Pearled, for your awesome content, and for making Sigmire one of my favorites. Anyways, Dubious Karim. Ominous features are associated with the Earl of Karim. But yeah, Karim is a... I don't know how to describe it because we never actually see it. Classic Xena. Thoughtful, mature face, comparable in historic Xena. I don't know if we meet anyone in Xena, but I'm not sure. I think we... This kind of looks like Patches, so maybe Patches comes from there. Maybe. I don't know. But he's probably here. That's probably this Patches. But anyways. Eerie Great Swamp. Swamp heretics face prejudice for their atypical looks. Nice forehead. Anyways. Far East Travelers, face from the distant eastern land of almond eyes and thin lips, aka known as Ryan Reynolds. For my face, I'm gonna go with the... Let's go with this. Looks like someone who lives life in a swamp. Alright, so for hair, cleanly shaved bald head, rough warrior hair shows age, no. Clipped short with a slight wave, aka known as what's his name? The guy who's the crestfallen warrior haircut, swept back, anime hair, long hair pulled back, ponytail, samurai hair, long hair pulled back and bound, wild hair. I might go with wild. Naturally long hair, excited by sweat, fits me, a person who lives in the forest or the swamps. Parted center, neatly kept hair, common for youth. Semi-long, neatly kept hair, slightly long, emo haircut, curly hair, sharp curled hair, cut short. I actually might go with this one instead. Looks more like, well, looks like my brother's hair. Anyways, and bobbed, neatly trimmed as the old nobility. Papa, I like this haircut! Anyways, we'll go with wild. Or curly. Wild looks better. And color, which basically is the color of her eyes and hair. Basic color, dark brown, and then we can do dark red. Okay, dark blue and hair and eyes, common Karim. Gray, common Northern Katarina. Gold hair and eyes, beloved by certain members of the nobility. Silver, considered antiquated in these times. Dark purple, rare color of a near-extinct race. Maybe it's the people of, that a certain character later comes from. And red, burning hair and eyes, very rare color. We'll go with red, you know, because fire. And now we can customize her face. Oh boy, what monster are we gonna create this time? Anyways, be right back while I just edit the face a bit. Oops! I didn't mean to accidentally cave in his face. Oops. Potion seller, I require your strongest potions. You are not fit enough to handle my potions. Oh god, I've actually turned him into a frog person. He looks like he's about to kiss me now. Anyways. And there you have it. The face of Flame Hyanard. I could have made him actually look like the actual Flame Hyanard from X7, but I'm not going to do that. But we shall initiate. No, we shall end, and yeah, that's Flame Hyanard, the face of a Delta farmer, and very slim. Anyways, let us go into the game and head into the realm of ancient lords and watch the intro cutscene. See you guys when it's over. Yes.
In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire, and with fire came disparity. Heat and cold, life and death, and of course, light and dark. Then from the dark they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. Nito, the first of the dead. The Witch of Asylum and her daughters of Chaos. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight, and his faithful knights. And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten. With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons. Gwyn's mighty bolts peeled apart Escon's skins. The witches weaved great firestorms. Nito unleashed a miasma of death and disease. And Seath the Scaleless betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more. Thus began the Age of Fire. But soon the flames will fade, and only dark will remain. Even now, there are only embers. And man sees not light, but only endless nights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark side.
Talk about an intro. Great intro.
Yes, indeed. The dark sign brands the undead. And in this land, the undead are corralled and led to the north. Where they are locked away to await the end of the world. This is your fate.
Well, this sucks. Locked in a cage. Nothing to do but sitting here and poop in a bucket. But hang on. There's a lot of shadows that appeared. Huh? What's that noise? Oh my god, it's a corpse. Who? A guy in armor. Well, I guess let's investigate what that corpse has, and hopefully we can get out of here. Maybe. Or maybe I could eat. I haven't eaten. Actually, do I need to eat? I am undead. Anyways, hello everybody, welcome to Dark Souls. Anyways, welcome to the Pyromancer. Well, sorry. Part. But anyways, we actually have a couple items just that we started with, because of what our choice is. So, we have the Black Separation Crystal. This black crystal, long a symbol of farewell, is granted to banished undead. The crystal sends Phantom back to their homes, or send them back to yours. Sends you back to yours. Beware of the fickle use of this item if you intend to nurture relations. This has to do with summons. Or summoning players in this game. There probably won't be so many summon players, not many people playing the Protected Die Edition, there'll be more playing the remaster, which is what I'll be doing mostly for, well, when we eventually do that remaster. So Covenants will basically not be as much done in this. Anyways, the Dark Sign signifies an accursed undead. Those who branded with it are reborn after death, but one day lose their mind and go hollow. Death triggers the Dark Sign, which returns its bearer to the last bonfire rested at, but at the cost of all humanity and souls. You can also use this as somewhat of a homeward bone, but it will cost all humanity and souls, acting as you died. Basically, it's a dying button. Master Key opens any basic lock. This universal key opens any basic lock, tool of the trade for thieves, but it's a cursed land of the undead, and most doors are better left unopened. Maybe, but I would still like to open everything. Fireball. Huge pyramid, standard pyramid seat of the Great Swamp. Hurl Fireball. The fire damage caused by fireballs makes them effective against corporeal beasts and undead who, by nature, fear flame because it destroys their bodies. The Straight Sword Hilt. Now here is how damage is scaled. Damage is scaled through many ways. For one, there is the physical. You can just explain the screen real quick. There is the attack, which shows physical, magic, fire, lightning, and critical. Critical is basically how much damage you do on a backstab or a parry. But right now it's only doing 20 physical damage. It also has an E in Dex and in Strength scaling. And it does 20 physical damage, 5.5 magic, 0.50. Damage reduction if you block with it, which is pretty bad. It also has a durability, a requirement parameter, which is a 6 and a 6. We have both of those, and a weight of 1. We also, by the way, on the Fairy Chart right, we can see our name, Covenant, level, souls, vitality, our stats, and our humanities. Humanities is something we'll get into when we actually get one. We also see our stamina, our HP, stamina, equip load, our weapon damage, and defense against certain types of damage. And they're pretty defensive against flame. We also see our poise, bleed resist, poison resist, and cure resist, curse resist, and item discovery rate, which only increases with items and also humanity. In our 2-minute slots, it basically determines how many spells we equipped. But anyways, I like to keep it around here, just for the sake of seeing HP and equip load. Anyways, weapon weapon straight sword, attack type regular thrust. The hilt of this lost sword was found discarded in the Undead Asylum, only slightly better than one's bare hands, and not recommended for excessive use. Be certain to find a replacement quickly, unless you're somehow going for a broken sword run, which by the way people have done, and bosses take 2 hours at a minimum. Seriously, see Manus. Anyways, here's the tattered cloth hood. Hood worn by pyromancers of the Great Swamp. Though it appears tattered, it's actually quite strong. Their attire offers substantial protection against poison, fire, and other forces of nature driven out in the hitherlands where they were driven. This is just robe, manchette, and boots made of thick leather. The boots of the pyromancers are incredibly tough on account of the rugged grassland and treacherous swamps they must traverse. Their souls are nearly impenetrable. For things we see our physical defense against certain damage types, for example, we have basically neutral against everything, but a little bit less damage against striking weapons. We also have good fire resistance and magic defense and lightning defense. But we have no poise, but good bleed resist, poise resist, and curse resist, and pretty good durability, but average weight. And then no rings. We can also see our equipment screen, where we basically see our right-hand weapon, our left-hand weapon, which is our fists, our gear that we have equipped, our rings, our bolts, which are good, and arrows, which are used for ranged weapons, and our usable items we currently have, which is the Black Separation Crystal and the Dark Sign. But we'll get to better ones later. But let's look at the poop bucket, which yes, there is even poop in it. I'm not even kidding. If you look closely, you see those two little things across the floor. That is poop. And we're feasting on a dead rat, apparently. Nah, nope. Oh, no, it was the poop barrel. That was it. That was the poop bucket. Barrel. That bucket's for weighing water. That was the poop bucket. Oh, God. Need a shower. But anyways, let's loot this corpse without further ado and get the dungeon cell key. I'll be reading, by the way, most items we get for the lore. Key to the northern undead asylum to the north. A mysterious knight, without saying a word, shoved a corpse down in the cell, and on this person was his key. Who is this knight, and what was his purpose? There'll be no answers, but one must still forge ahead. Alright, let's unlock the door. Yeah, there's a couple tutorials. Right stick camera controls, just how I'm able to look like this. Also, I have a little mod that increases the texture on these so we can actually read what they're saying, which is in a made-up language. Though it might... Oh, never mind. Oh! Soul the mind. Key to lies ether. Soul the lost which withdrawn from its vessel. Oh, it's the thing. Oh, it's the thing that the what's his name? The Maiden in Black said. That's cool. So the world might be mended. Anyways, camera controls. Yeah. So, anyways, here is attack. We can kill these hollows. Hollows are basically basically undead, which went full hollow and lost their sanity, meaning that they are no longer sane and just attack anything that moves, including us. Also, this leech is eating that rat. You. Also, over there is a huge demon. We won't fight that guy for a while. But anyways, attack. RB is attacking for regular light attacks. Right trigger is for heavy attacks, which usually are slower but do more damage. Strong attack. But hey, here's one more thing. RBs usually aren't always right attacks. Also, ow, that guy got impaled. Sometimes they're just a different type of attack. For example, one might be heavy attack, but other might be slashing damage. So, always test your moveset. So basically, things for movesets, we have a sprint attack, just like that. A jumping attack, which place it forward and the right trigger back. You have a kick, which is the same thing, which is just like that. You have a backdash attack, which is the same as your sprinting attack, which is useful in some cases. Left stick, hold the dash, which you use a sprint. And over here, target lock and release if you press the right trigger. I tend to use this a lot, though honestly, I'm just going to say this, most people recommend you don't, for the sake of, you know, it kind of makes you, it gets rid of your omnidirectional movement, and instead makes it so you can only roll in 4 directions. I was about to mention, press Y and you can change your moveset into a different moveset. Being a two-hand moveset, by the way, just letting you know, never ever use this guard in real life. It guards nothing. Anyways, and leaves your legs completely unguarded, so don't hold your sword like this. Hold it forward, facing the enemy. Anyways, instead I changed our moveset to be one where you easily swing down, and instead swing left and right with a sword. Okay. Probably can't do that attack because we're in the deep water. Here we are. Just testing reference. And any jump attack with the two animal? Nope. There it is. Same as one hit. I should showcase the moveset of this thing because we will not be using it long. I'm going to be getting rid of this thing as soon as possible. Here's weapon hooks. It is the worst weapon in the game for a reason. The reason you would even use it is it's slightly better than the fist. Because seriously, here's the fist moveset. Anyways, rest of bonfire, cover HP. That is a bonfire, or the equivalent of our little lanterns from Demon Souls. Many people consider that fighting with the fists harder than well, yeah. Also, I forgot we have a roll attack too. You double tap the B button, you can roll, and then you can press it again to do an attack. I have to show that off. Alright. Ow, my fist. But anyways, bonfires. Walk to a bonfire and light it. Now, the remake makes it a little bit more flame, and later games do that, but the original Dark Souls wasn't a flame. It was more like an ethereal essence coming out of a bonfire, making it more unnatural with a coiled sword. Anyways, let's rest. At a bonfire, for now, the only thing we can do is attune magic. Basically, we can take off or on Fireball. That's all we can do. But we can recover all of our HP, but it will restore all the enemies in the area, making all the enemies come back. But without further ado, kind of like leaving an area in Demon Souls and coming back. But anyways, without further ado, let's head into the church. Or the Asylum Cathedral. Head in and say, hey, that's a lot of pots. And look up for that. Get away. That is the Asylum Demon, our first boss. We are not strong enough to face it. Head into here. Now, if you had the black fire bombs, however, or you're just really skilled and persistent, you can actually kill the thing early and get yourself a weapon. This is the Demon's Great Hammer. You can only get it if you defeat it before you enter this area. demon weapon built from the stone arch trees, used by lesser demons at Northern Undead Asylum. This hammer is imbued with no special power, but it will merely beat foes into a pulp, provided you have the strength to wield it. The strength you need to wield it, by the way, is 46 strength, a ridiculous amount of strength, but it has A scaling with strength and is able to be upgraded to plus 15. It is actually considered the strongest strength weapon in the game, physically speaking, I mean. On par with the demon's great axe. Can you back out of this? Thank you. There we go. Alright. I'm using a checklist again, by the way, for this game, because of just the sake of collection. Anyways, and here's another bonfire. So you don't accidentally respawn at the Asylum demon if you so choose. Heck, I should have waited, because then I could have just fought the Asylum demon to death. But anyways, over here, get your shield. Basically, to dodge this arrow shooting hollow, right, it's gonna try to kill us. This way, it's just how you. This is the tutorial on how to change equipment and use shields. The cracked round shield. You equip the shield, just equip it in your left hand, and look at it. Which is a bad shield. You see that physical damage? It's 65, meaning it will block 65% of the damage taken. There are better shields out there that guard 100%, which are the ones you do want, or shields with special effects if you're not using a shield. I am using a shield, so I'll probably... Oh, actually, I won't be using a shield, so I won't have to worry about this, but my next character will, so... Weapon type, small shield. Attack type, strike. Round wooden shield. Cracked and nearly broken. Wooden shields are lighter than metal shields, but this one has lower physical damage with reduction in stability, partly due to cracking. Anyways, guard with holding the light trigger, and you can parry with the other trigger. Get over here! Get over here! If you get up behind an enemy and press the trigger button, you can backstab, which basically is a mechanic that... Oh, well, that's how much the Broken Straight Sword does, by the way. Oh, so just snag that? Here's a hand axe. An actual weapon. We'll read its bio in a bit. I'm just going to dodge around him and shot this guy in the face. The hand axe. A strength weapon, actually, with a C scaling and D scaling in dex, having the same, a little bit better things, but it has much higher strength, but, and also defense, too. Which is better in every way than the Broken Straight Sword, but even higher durability, but higher weight by 1. Weapon type, axe. Attack type, regular. Small hand axe appears identical to a lumberjack's tool, but has an ideal weight and strength. It is easy to handle. One strong swing leaves the wielder wide open, so timing and proximity to the enemy must be judged carefully. Sorry, I'm keeping. Anyways, we'll show off the moveset for this. Basically, it has a two swing thing, like that. A sideways chop like that. A downward chop. A downward chop. And one where you just kind of swing it back and forth. One where you just chop like a lumberjack and do a lot of damage, but take up all your things. And one last roll attack where, if I can charge, I think, to do that. By the way, you do 50% more damage, by the way, just to let you know that. Not double, 50%. But, yeah. Change weapons and toggle items. Yeah, you change your weapon if you want, but most of the time I'll probably be wielding my weapon two-handed for the sake of just consistency, because I know how to switch between them. Also, let's head through the fog gate. Up here. There's the knight that helped us. He's hurt. Well, we'll help him in a bit. Anyways, backstep is basically expressly backstep. Over here is nothing, but hey, look, I just want to show it off, because why not? But I will be doing one thing before we head, well, actually, no, before we, well, actually, head this way. Try to have the steps, and quickly dodge roll to the right to make that boulder go through the wall. So having it because it will, if you don't, the boulder will crush you and do a lot of damage. But it opens the way to Oscar of Astora, a person who would have been much more important if his quest line wasn't cut from the game.
Oh, you. You're no hollow. Hmm? Thank goodness. I'm done for, I'm afraid. I'll die soon, then lose my sanity. I wish to ask something of you. You and I, we're both undead. Hear me out, will you?
Yes.
Regrettably, I have failed in my mission, but perhaps you can keep the torch lit. There is an old saying in my family. Thou who art undead art chosen, and thine exodus from the undead asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know. Well, now you know. And I can die with hope in my heart. Oh, one more thing. Here, take this. An Estus flask.
Oh, the Estus flask! The Estus flasks are means of healing in this game, and probably the best thing you want on your character at all times on your bar at first spot.
Oh, and this.
And here's the key. Undead Asylum at floor 2, East Key.
Now I must bid farewell. I would hate to harm you after death. So go now, and thank you.
Oscar of Astora. Oscar of Astora is an interesting character. He was meant to be much more of a character in the game versus now, being basically your counterpart, basically following you through the entire game. And I mean the entire game. I mean the entire game. He was supposed to be with you to the end of the game, basically constantly appearing throughout it, appearing in Darkwood Basin, on Orlando, and up into the Kiln of the First Flame. So, and where you would eventually end his quest. But because the time had been scrapped, because this game was put through a very, very rushed development at the end, most of his story had been cut, and he had to be put in the asylum dead. Yeah, how'd he die? That. And what's in that courtyard? But the asylum demon smacking him so hard in the face that he fell to the ceiling. And now we have to bid Oscar adieu. As we leave, he bleeds out / takes his own life so he doesn't kill us going hollow. And we get his souls, 100. Oh yeah, his souls. Souls are basically our currency in this game that you get from killing enemies and also popping nameless souls. But we can use that to buy items and also power up our character. Also, by the way, huzzah, Moongrass is gone. Instead, in its place, is the almighty Estus Flask. By the way, I forgot to mention, because the Estus Flask is our Moongrass replacement. Instead, just being able to be an liquid fire we can drink that can basically be refilled at any bonfire that can refill our HP at any time without having to constantly buy Moongrass or find it in stages. The undead treasure these dull green flasks filled with Estus at a bonfire, fills HP. These Estus flasks are linked to the Firekeepers. Dark Tales also make the reference. An emerald flask from the Keeper's soul, so he lives to protect the flame and dies to protect it further. I wonder what that's about. Without further ado, let's head up. And defeat this guy, which actually has a sword instead of a no weapon. He actually has one. Open this using our key. And we can head over here. Wield right weapon, two-handed. Most of the game will be using this, but I will also be swapping with when we're throwing fireballs everywhere. I'll be using fireball in my left hand instead of my right. Left stick jump, I already explained these. Anyways, jump behind you, make sure there's nothing behind you. Rushing at a bonfire revives enemies. Yes, I wanted to mention that. Anyways, over here is our Pyromancy Flame. Our spell catalyst for casting spells as the Pyromancer. The Flame Catalyst actually has a magic adjust of 100. Magic adjust basically how much damage is added to our spells when casted, but it has 0 physical damage. Basically meaning that it cannot, basically it won't add anything because it's doing these enemies a fist, but it will get extra damage when we upgrade it. It also does fire damage when hit, 40 to be exact. Also, you can block with it, but why would you? You also need 4 strength to use it, but every character has 4 strength, so you don't have to worry about that too much. But it doesn't scale with anything, so... Weapon type, Pyromancy Flame. Attack type, Strike. Flame medium and used by the green swap Pyromancers. Pyromancers arouse this flame to prevent various fire arts. Equip Pyromancer's Flame to produce Pyromancy. Attune Pyromancy set from a scroll at a bonfire. Most Pyromancies have a limited number of uses, which replenish every time you go into a bonfire. You don't have to constantly do it, because this game operates on a spell slot system instead of an NP system. I just tried a quick save. Anyways... Oh, frick. Throw a fireball, just to showcase it off. Pretty cool. Oh, frick. Dodged. Anyways, the Sorcery Flame equipped up to change Pyromancies and RB to use Pyromancies, or LB in my case. While falling, press RB to use a plunging attack. And over here, when RB behind an enemy to critical hit him. That's why is it important? Because over here is a enemy with a shield, which will be much more dangerous. You'll see these guys more often in the next area, but we can fight this guy for some extra souls, even though these guys can heal with an Estus Flask. They also have a chance of dropping their armor or short swords. But we cannot unlock that because we need a special key. Also, you can parry by pressing LT with a shield. I forgot to mention that. Anyways, why did they mention the plunging attack? Well, traverse up here and look down. The Asylum Demon is looking up at us. Now, if you stay up there long enough, the Asylum Demon will, and I mean this, and I mean it when I say this, will eventually get smart and knock us off. Ow, my face. Anyways. Also, there's jiggle physics on the Asylum Demon because it's funny. Oh my god! Okay. Just throw Pyromancy Flames, and you should be fine as a Pyromancer against the Asylum Demon. Or, if you're a melee attack, just attack him physically. Okay, one more hit, and it's dead. Kaboom! Down goes the Asylum Demon. But quite easily is that. Big Pilgrim's Key. Which is the key in order to escape this place. And we get a humanity for doing so. You get a humanity every time you beat a boss, but humanities are really important in this game. Use one humanity to greatly restore HP. Sorry, what they mean is a full heal. Rare, tiny black sprite found in corpses. Use one humanity to gain and restore a large amount of HP. This black sprite is called humanity, but little is known about its true nature. If the soul is the source of all life, then what distinguishes the humanity we hold within ourselves? You'll find out through this game what it means. Also, we'll read this key. Key to the iron bars on the east side of the second floor of the Undead Asylum. The Undead Asylum is a giant undead prison segmented by constant iron bars. Even if an undead were to escape from a cell, past the outside world would not be gained easily. And over here is the Pilgrim's Key. Key to the inner door of the Undead Asylum main hall. Big key belonging to a chosen undead pilgrim. But the chosen undead knows not what this pilgrimage has in store. So, let's the bonfire, just to heal our HP. Also have a good amount of souls on us. So, without further ado, let's leave the Undead Asylum for now. Avoid the middle of the floor because just in case of, falling to the floor. I don't know. Alright. Head out here, using the Pilgrim's Key. Dunk. And head outside. Good job. Go straight ahead. Now, one thing about Dark Souls, a lot of people think it's really hard. And I mean, really hard. Like, impossible. But I'm here to say that Dark Souls is not an impossible game. It is a very possible game. In fact, it is around the same difficulty as your average Mega Man game, in my personal opinion. Just know what to do, know where to go, know some of the mechanics that the game tries to teach you, and you'll do pretty well for yourself. Especially since the bosses are kind of easy in this game, I'm going to be completely honest with you, except for one or two. Anyways, over here is a crow's nest. We'll be here later for Snuggly, when we revisit this area later in the game. Because we believe we're revisiting this area. Some graveyards, and let's head to the peak of the Undead Asylum and head out of here.
Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall...
Oh my god, it's a bird! Ah! And hey, that's the end of Dark Souls. We got eaten by a crow. I'm just kidding.
Leave the Undead Asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords.
Also, we never find out who that lady is that's speaking. Oh, Lordran. The land of the ancient lords. Probably one of my favorite settings in any game. Heck, so much so I was actually considering making a D&D campaign inside of Lordran. Now, it's a little buggy because I am playing with a 60 FPS patch with the SX, so it might be a little buggy with that. But anyways, I just realized I'm not playing at 60 FPS at 920 by 1080. I just realized. Do I have black bars inside of the screen on the recording? What the heck is that doing? Anyways. Lordran, level up and kindle at bonfires. Welcome to Firelink Shrine. Probably one of my favorite areas, hub areas of the game. Anyways, without further ado, let us rest up at the bonfire, and we'll explain some of the mechanics with this. We had access to new mechanics. We had access to level up. where you can level up all of our stats at the cost of souls. We also have the ability to kindle the bonfire using humanities that we use, which basically allows us to have more Estus flax. Basically, with each kindle, we can increase it by 5, although currently now we can only increase it by 1, meaning that we can only have up to 10 Estuses with each kindled bonfire. We can also reverse our hollowing, making ourselves human again, and in making ourselves have, well, you know, humanity. It basically make it look how we actually want it instead of a shriveled up raisin. Alright, so for skills. I am going for a Dex build this playthrough. I know, it's Dex. Why not be the Pyromancer? I'm going Dex. But you'll find out why later. Let's creep. Okay, we can't increase it much, so let's do... I'll be mainly leveling a Vitality, Attunement, and Endurance, and Dex. That's it. And maybe enough to get the weapon I want. Because I'll be going with a Sergeant weapon later. Anyways, we'll quit that. We can also use this in order to increase our attunement slots later. But anyways, so we can have 2 more into attunement, and we can get ourselves an attunement slot. But I'm going to do that and that. Basically, get ourselves extra equip load, get ourselves extra stamina, extra HP, and extra damage. Yeah, but not much damage, but no damage actually. It'll increase our defense by 2, actually. Wow. But again, we won't be using this weapon for long. This weapon is a temporary. This high index is a temporary one. Oh, we actually press back in order to use an exclamation. Character's name, parameter determine HP, parameter determine attunement slots, parameter determine stamina, equip load, and resistance bleeding. Parameter to required to wield powerful weapons, also boost weapon attack. Required to wield advanced weapons, boost weapon attack. Basically, strength and dex are 2 different stats, which affect 2 different weapons. Strength is more for heavy hitting weapons that do physical damage, and, well, heavy hitting weapons, while dexterity weapons are more fast weapons, but do less damage than strength weapons, and also less poise damage. But dexterity can be pretty good, because it usually does more crit, and also a lot of, well, damage that does fast, with very little cost to stamina. Resistance is basically useless. Parameter boost in defense and resist to poison. Useless. Do not relevant resistance. Intelligence parameter required to wield sorceries. Also boost sorcery and magic weapons. Now here's one thing I didn't mention. Dexterity. Dexterity is unique. It also, instead of just boosting the weapons for dex weapons, and also the ability to use certain weapons, it also boosts sorcery and pyromancy and miracle casting times. So it is pretty important to level dexterity as well. And then faith is basically just intelligence, but for faith weapons. So yeah. And humanity is the number of black stars in the bosom, or symbolizes a human's nature and determines item discovery and resists to curses. Alright. I think with that, that's further ado. For the souls. Boop. And that's where I'm going to leave you. Next time on Let's Play Dark Souls, we're going to head and explore Firelink Shrine and do some exploration around the world of Lordran with our good old, with our good old Master Key. See you guys then. Have a great day.